Hello and welcome to Towards a Better India. In this video, I want to talk about the importance of having dedicated venues when it comes to, say, musical concerts or events, which I feel in India are largely lacking. When I see abroad, I what I see is that there are a lot of these places which have kind of become symbolic of various, musical venues or musical events. You look at Wembley in London, you have in Rio you have the stadium which is huge, and there have been so many fantastic concerts which have been held there with spectacular success, and I think the same can be emulated here. And often I feel the venues per se are there, we just need to kind of channelize and use them appropriately. An instance would be Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Delhi. The last time I think it was used for an epic musical event was Ricky Martin's concert. This was back in 1998, so you can imagine how long back I'm talking about. So I think we can use a place like that as it is after the Commonwealth opening and closing ceremonies and other track and field events which took place there. That venue has hardly been used, which is a shame. And when you build such a huge stadium, you spend so much money on that, and then you don't use it. What's the point? And if you're not using it for sports events, which of course you should, but if you're not using it, you can at least use it for these musical concerts. It's such an amazing venue in the heart of the city. Also, look at say Palace grounds in Bangalore, which I think thankfully has been used pretty well. Bombay, there are other similar locations which can actually be used to great success for these kind of musical concerts events. And I'm talking on a large scale, like say in Delhi you have the Siri Fort, but then if you have say thousands of fans who've come out, and when you have global groups coming in, global say rock bands or music bands who are coming in, of course the number of fans, especially young fans, are large. They're really large, so sometimes these indoor facilities prove inadequate, and that's where I having it outdoors, semi outdoors, open space is always a great idea. But that can only happen when these venues themselves are wonderful. If you check out this video, I've already spoken about the fact that these foreign groups coming in, it's an excellent trend. We're already seeing so many of these groups coming in. At the same time, I feel that there's so much scope for more. But having said that, one of the things which you need for them to come regularly is the presence of suitable venues. When those venues are in place, a lot of other things cease to matter. If you recall the Metallica concert fiasco in Gurgaon, I think one of the primary reasons was the fucked up location. If the location was better, if it was such that it could comfortably accommodate everybody, things would not be so crowded, everyone could enjoy the whole concert per se, that probably fuck up would not happen. The reason the fuck up happened was because the way the venue per se was not really that appropriate, because obviously when you have a concert here, and that too of a group like Metallica, you expect crowds in by the droves. And people were not just from Delhi and the National Capital Region. People had flown in from various parts of India. Many had even come in from abroad. So that being the case, you have to ensure that your venues are suitable. And that's where I think the event management company also, I think, floundered big time, because if you sold tickets by a certain number, you obviously know how many people are coming. And so either you should sell suitably, where that okay, I'm selling say 10,000 tickets, so whatever the venue, there is ample arrangement for accommodating those 10,000 people who are going to come. But if you sell, say 20,000, and you have a place which is suitable or adequate for only say 15,000, then you're obviously making a big mistake. And that's where I feel using these stadiums for these kind of events is brilliant, because they are already there, they are already being used. Even these cricket grounds, which are of course there all over the country, and they are of very good quality, I think, without actually spoiling the ground in any way, spoiling the pitch, fucking things up on the ground itself. I think still it can be done. You can have everyone, all the people seated, say where the spectators sit during a match, and the performers can do their gig on the actual stay inside the stadium, on the actual, say, on the periphery of the ground, etc. And I think things can be done pretty comfortably. And similarly, likewise, there are many such, venues, but having these venues in place, perfectly prim and proper, perfect coordination with the, the event management company, and and the entry points, exit points, coordination with the police and other agencies, everything has to be done very proper. And somehow, often, in our country, we end up, screwing up big time on one of these aspects. Somewhere something goes wrong, some permission we've not taken, some fuck up or the other is invariably there. And that's where, if we can ensure that these goof ups, don't happen, I'm sure, more and more of these groups we can see, and more of such, exciting events we can get to be a part of. I think that'll be great. So cheers on that note.